Small, medium, and community loggers in Guyana are set to get improved access to finance with the establishment of the $900 million Forestry Revolving Fund. The senior finance minister said on behalf of the government signed a memorandum of understanding for establishing the fund with the Demerara Limited Bank. The fund is aimed at addressing some of the challenges faced in the forestry sector in terms of the availability of easily accessible, low-cost financing, especially for small-scale operators. The Minister of Natural Resources was among those attending the signing.
It is indeed pleasing for me as Minister of Natural Resources that we have reached this stage where we have bargained, of course, with the intervention of His Excellency President Ali, bargained with the Demerara Bank that we can now access finance for our small loggers, our sawmillers, and to ensure that the forestry sector is being restored and returned to its former glory days.
And the minister added that the funds will be deployed for affordable lending for people operating in the forestry sector.
When I say affordable lending, an agreement has been reached with Demerara Bank that the interest rate to be charged for lending out of this fund will be capped at 4%. And that obviously represents a highly concessional rate.
And switching gears now, Pope Benedict XVI is lying in state at the Vatican, and thousands are lining up to pay their respects. This was the scene at St. Peter's Basilica on Monday morning, where his body will be displayed for 3 days in an open casket. Pope Benedict died on New Year's Eve at the age of 95, almost a decade after he stood down because of his illness. It is the first time in 600 years that a pope has resigned due to ailing health. Pope Francis will chair Thursday's funeral, which is the first time a pope will be buried by his successor. The funeral will take place in St. Peter's Square before Pope Benedict is laid to rest in the tombs beneath the basilica. Well, meantime, Brazil begins to say goodbye to global icon Pelé, who put Brazilian soccer on the map back in the 1960s and 70s. Overnight, the coffin was transported from the hospital where he died to the stadium, where the wakes began at 10 a.m. local time there. A multitude of fans are expected to attend the funeral and pay their respects to the soccer star. The wake will continue until Tuesday morning. Well, meantime, a new strain of the COVID Omicron variant is now taking over the U.S. mainland. The subvariant named XBB.1.5 accounts for about 40% of confirmed U.S. COVID cases. That's up from 20% a week ago. In the Northeast, the XBB accounts for about 75% of confirmed cases. Experts say there is no indication that this variant causes more severe illness than any other Omicron variant. On Friday, the 7-day average of daily COVID hospitalizations reached over 42,000, which is an increase of 4.2% from 2 weeks previously. Lab studies have found that XBB is capable of evading antibodies from previous COVID infections or vaccinations, meaning exposure could lead to someone getting sick or reinfected. And there's mounting frustrations on what will be a busy travel day for millions of Americans. After last week's mass cancellations, Southwest Airlines says their operations are back to normal as airports and highways get set to face another holiday surge. Blaine Alexander brings us the very latest.
With 2023 now officially underway, this morning millions of Americans are heading home from the holidays, filling the skies and the roads on one of the busiest travel days of the year, the final bookend on a holiday season that was expected to see nearly 113 million travelers. It comes as the nation's biggest domestic carrier, Southwest Airlines, is still recovering from an unprecedented travel meltdown, canceling more than 15,000 flights during the holiday week, leaving thousands of passengers stranded and mountains of luggage unclaimed. Over the weekend, in a message to employees, Southwest CEO Bob Jordan promised the company will move forward with lessons learned, adding there will be immediate work to understand what happened. Now, even as the airline is back to normal operations, industry experts say the ripple effects are far from over.
There are still thousands and thousands of travelers on Southwest who had their flights canceled and who need to be rebooked, reaccommodated. And so as a result, you are seeing Southwest flights going out extremely full.
Experts say if you are heading to the airport today, expect a crowd. Air travel is up 14% over last holiday season. To help keep your travel plans on track, experts say get to the airport early. Try not to check luggage, and if you do, consider attaching a GPS tracker to the bag so you can monitor where it ends up. And finally, take a picture of the inside of your luggage to have proof for reimbursement in case your bag goes missing.
And switching gears now, the Mega Millions jackpot is still climbing. It's now up to about $785 million. Friday night's drawing failed to produce any winners. Now that means Tuesday's drawing will be the fourth largest Mega Millions jackpot in the game's history. Only 3 previous Mega Millions jackpots have gone above that $700 million mark, and all 3 times those rolled on past the $100 billion mark.